Hello and welcome to Holding This Space. Today I'm absolutely delighted to be joined by Mark of the X Factor. Hello Mark, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you very much, and thanks for having me on the show. It's fantastic.
I'm absolutely delighted to speak to you because we are fellow DJs, but we've actually not had the chance to meet until today.
Yeah, I know, and that's the thing. It's kind of weird because I do speak to people, and we've got sort of Facebook groups and things like that, and I've never really met quite a lot of them. I met Colette last week from the Letty Rock show, and obviously I was trained by Keith. It's good to meet people, yeah.
So tell us about your introduction into broadcasting.
As I said to someone last week, I kind of fell into it, really. I started off doing a bit of acting many years ago, and I was so good. I'm still not famous at all. And then I got into voice work a while back, and I went on a voiceover course with Peter Dixon from the X Factor and Britain's Got Talent and things like that, and another lady called Tanya Rich who's in so many different voiceover commercials. So I did this course, and at the end of it they said, yeah, do something with it. So I have kind of been doing things with it. I've done sort of narration for people. It's not the easiest thing to get into if you're an unknown person. It's not impossible, but you have to kind of keep putting your stuff out there. So I'm constantly sending off show reels to people, and that's how I kind of approached K107 and said, I kind of pestered them with show reels saying, I'd like to do some of your voice stuff. So they got me in, interviewed me about all that and said, yeah, and then they said, oh, what about a show? And I'm like,
welcome to K107.
Yeah. So I was like, okay. So I do other things and we work and things, and I think, I can't always commit to something. And they said, well, when could you do one? And I kind of thought, they want this. So I thought, okay, I can do this Sunday night, and I'd like to do a kind of a mix of stuff. And they said, yeah. They said, that's fine, you can do it. And I sort of went away out the building thinking, oh dear. But I was really excited about it as well,
What was that show like for you? Because I can tell you mine was nerve-wracking because, the light goes on and the mic's there and you're starting to speak into it. What was that like for you?
I was expertly trained by Keith here, Keith who does Keith's Country, who was brilliant, absolutely fantastic trainer. He really taught me everything. You'll remember one night when I pressed a button that none of us knew what we did. It was a bit, but anyway, the first show was quite nerve-wracking, and there was something went wrong. If I remember rightly, it wasn't coming out right, and Colin was here from the studio, and he's running around trying to fix it, and I'm sitting there absolutely petrified thinking, this is not good, it's not going to... But it worked, it went out. I was still, everything that Keith had taught me went right out of my head because I was nervous, but then I sort of started getting into it, and I really enjoyed it, and when I went back home that night, the adrenaline was still going, and it was fantastic,
It's brilliant, eh? It's like going for a marathon.
Yeah.
Without actually moving at all.
Yeah, no, definitely, which is always good.
Now, you've recently attended a course at the BBC Academy.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, this all came about. It was an email that we got sent out. It come from the BBC. They sent out to lots of different community radio stations and various places like that, saying if you've got an interest in radio. And it was more on the operations side as opposed to the presenting side. So it was all about the role of the studio director, the role of the producer. So if you imagine, obviously, we're sort of lone DJs, as it were, and we're presenters, and we press all the buttons. In the studio environment, a bigger studio environment, the role of the studio director, you've got a presenter who's got a script, you've got news articles lined up, because it was concentrating a lot on Radio 5 Live and the Asian Network Report shows, and that's how we kind of based upon it. So you've got all these kind of news articles and vox pops coming in, and your role is to sit at this desk and basically coordinate your newsreader, your presenter, your sports commentator that's phoning in from, some noisy football match, your guest, angry from wherever, calling up to complain about something or to give their, request. And your job really is to coordinate all that, line it all up, a lot of button pressing, a lot of communication between, and it was helping you how to work as part of a team. So when I applied for it, I wanted to do it, I wasn't entirely sure I would get it. Sent the application away, which involved a competency question about when you worked in a team, recording a short video about yourself, sent it off. I was very excited to have got it. And I went down to their training centre, which is down in Worcestershire. And I walked in this room, and there's all these folks sitting there, I'm thinking, I bet they're all really whiz at tech and things like that. And there was some incredibly talented people on the course, all different backgrounds, all different ages, all across the whole spectrum of diversity. There was a whole great mix of people, and the good thing was we all gelled together really, really well. So we all sat there the night before, we went in the next day, and then we met our trainers in this sort of BBC training centre, and it's all proper studios and things like that, you know.
What's that like sitting there? Because you're in the Big Daddy, you're in the BBC, and you're about to be there for a few days. It's
fairly nerve-wracking. I mean, the presenting staff and the production staff that were on the course, the training staff, were absolutely fantastic. They were all so much patience with us. But, you know, you're sitting there surrounded by the BBC logos and everything, and you're in the trademark sort of decor and things, and you can't help the fact that you are in the BBC. So we were all kind of fairly nervous, but they were all saying, as they kept saying, this is going to be fun, you have to enjoy yourselves. But I think we've all got that kind of wee thing inside us that you want to do well. You want to be, you know, you really want to do well at it. So we kind of all put ourselves under a little bit of pressure, I think, to do that. But they were all fantastic with regards to the way they trained and the way they explained stuff. You know, I mean, things like editing, for instance, they taught us that. I was terrified about doing editing before I went there, and I was terrified when the session started, but they were so patient and they explained it so well. And that's an art, to be able to train someone that, you know, everybody has different learning skills. To be able to deliver a training session that everybody just gets is a real art. And I actually said that to Mrs. It was well done. But yeah, it was sitting there going, oh my goodness, it's the BBC. It was fun though.
You've done a lot of media work as well as your voiceover work. Do you have any advice for any wannabe broadcasters out there that want to try radio voiceovers?
Yeah.
Whatever it may be. Get
yourself out there. I think gone are the days when you can just be talented and someone will trip over you. It happens. It does happen. Very, very rarely. Networking is key. I've been to a few, because I do a bit of singing and songwriting as well, and I've been to a few sort of networking things. And that's the thing I'm constantly told. You've got to get yourself out there. My friends is constantly on at me saying I need to get my LinkedIn and everything, and I will, I promise. But you really need to get yourself out there. You really need to network. Don't be afraid to ask people questions. There is no mystical inner circle of famous people. They're all just like you and I. They all worked where they got to. With things like getting into radio, the BBC themselves and what we learned on the course, the BBC Academy, the website, the BBC Academy website, is just go to the BBC Academy and it will come up. You'll get loads of hits in it. And there's also a Twitter page, which is at BBC Get In, all one word. And that gives you a lot of entry-level stuff to get into. There's apprenticeships, paid apprenticeships, and it gives you all the information and what it could lead to. There's also other media companies as well. You know, it doesn't have to be, and even they said in the course, you know, you just really have to get yourself out there. And self-motivational stuff, you know, get yourself out there with an iPhone and, you know, go and interview someone, you know, obviously try and do it the right way, you know, don't just run up to people and say, oh, tell me the price of beans and whatever. But get out there and do self-motivational stuff and record, do blogging and vlogging and, you know, social media and things like that, you know, but definitely get yourself out there. Look on the websites, research it, have a plan. Have a plan and have a plan B, because it's not always going to go to plan. The things, the apprenticeships and things like that, they don't do them every week, so they come around every so often. And get involved in community radio. You know,
there's so many opportunities out there.
Yeah, I mean, you know, get involved with anything like that. Local newspapers, local radio, local, you know, sort of television and Amdram, whatever you want to do. If you want to get into media, you have to get into media. You have to be around people that are doing it, and then just see where your strengths and weaknesses lie. You'll soon find out. And you think, oh, I really enjoy that and I'm good at it.
That's part of the charm of living in Fife.
Yeah.
Because you'll ask for help with something and someone will say to you, do you cane? So there's abundance of help out there and connections, and do you know somebody that knows somebody in our community already?
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. And as I said before, there is no... I've met some fantastic people. I've met some people that have written for very famous artists. I've met some people that have worked on shows, and there's no mysticism about it. They're just, like all of us, we're just normal people, and as are the people that are, you know, sort of in the limelight. you've just got to really kind of, I think you've got to be realistic as well. I think you've got to not look at it as, oh, I want to get into media because I want to be famous. No, it doesn't work like that. Like I say, it's very, very rare. The stuff that, I've always said to people, I've got a great face for radio and things like that. But I think if you want to do something, really think about it and then focus on that. But have your plan B, and don't be disappointed if you don't get it first time, because
part of the learning, isn't it?
Yeah, it is very much part of the learning. I mean, like I say, I'm a secret, I'm 50 now. I was 50 a week or so ago, and I'm still enjoying it. I haven't sort of thought, oh, I can't do that, I'm too old, I can't do that. It's nonsense. You can do whatever you want. If you really want to do it, you can do it. There is, that was another thing that we learned on that course when we had chats from people about careers, and the big thing that came out is there is no such thing as that. If you've got the talent and you can do it and you want to do it, and a lot of these things is really enthusiasm. Well, like all of us here at K107, we're all volunteers. We do it because we love it. And
we're half mad as well.
Well, yeah, there is that. And like sometimes due to other things like family commitments, sometimes I have to do a pre-record and I'll have to come in here late on at night and do it. And I sometimes sitting there thinking, oh my word, and it's raining outside and it's cold, and I think I'm sitting there doing this, but it's true. It's because we love doing it, and it's because we have pride in what we do. We have pride in the studio and the in K107, and we just love doing it, and it gives you that.
I think it's the best fun ever. That tends to be the way that I think about it. Tell us about the X factor.
Yeah, that the first few weeks I had trouble sort of saying that myself. I was trying to think up what I was going to do for this show, and I didn't want to get into a niche kind of show because I don't have enough interest in one particular form of music. I have absolute admiration for Keith, that does the country show, and Andrew does the funk show, and Grace with the jazz, because they know their stuff. They absolutely know what they're, and they know it inside out. I'm not that knowledgeable about one particular style of music. I just know that I like certain types. I don't know that other people look there. So I did a wee bit of research and thought, what does everybody else play on a Sunday night 6 to 8? And it's all kind of chart. And I thought, no, I really just don't want to chart. So what I thought was, I was reading something, and the phrase "the X Factor" came up, and I thought, do you know what does that mean? And if you look into it, it means a certain indefinable, just a mixture of things. So I thought, okay, Sunday night, 6 o'clock, starts with S, songs, okay. I wasn't up all night thinking about it, and I thought, so what I play is a mix of brand new releases from established artists, chart songs, and songs that you just listen to and you think, oh no, I've not heard that for ages. That's the kind of songs I try and... There's also people can call up and have requests. Also like to introduce new bands. There's a band from the northeast at the moment, Mood Bay. I've been playing their stuff. 7 with the first English-speaking radio station to play an artist called Ellen Zelander, and she had a song out just before Christmas, and we were the very proud people to play it outside of there. So she was chuffed to bits, and because of the fact, and I think because we have an extended listening now, and I think a lot of that's family, friends. I mean, we've got listeners now because they text in and they Facebook message, the USA, Norway, and that really kind of, that gives me the, oh wow, you can reach people when you're sitting in the room here in Kirkcaldy, and folk they're across the other side of the world.
It's pretty amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, It is. It's fantastic.
How can listeners find out more about you, Mark, if they wanted to find out more about your media work and your show?
Well, you can follow me on my Twitter page, which is the real Mark AG. You can follow me on the Twitter page. Could do with some more followers. I'm going to be starting up a Facebook page for the show soon. I just need to sort that out. And you can write into the studio, or you can post it in the studio. You can text the studio, when it's on. Let us know what you want, if you want to hear some particular kind of music or talk about something. I've always had this idea I'd like to do a wee talk show, but I think I'd probably end up just going off topic for a while and things like that. So, but look on the website, the K107.co.uk. You can find out about me and all the rest of the presenters and the station, and how to get involved and things like that. If you really want to do this, come and do it.
Thank you very much, Mark, for holding the space.
No, thanks for having me on.
Thank
Sure,
you.
It's fantastic.